Thank you.
Calling the, May 2nd, 2022 Arts Council of Alachua County meeting to order at 5:31 p.m. Second item on the agenda is election of chair and vice chair. If there's any discussion or and/or motion.
What is the thing we're supposed to be?
Is there anybody who wants to be chair?
He does.
So you're nominating David?
Sure.
Do we need to do them, each individually, or?
We could do it as one motion, if you would like, or we could do two motions.
Is Irina on the line? She wants to continue?
No, she is not on the line. I was expecting her, there she is.
There she is.
Perfect timing, we were just talking about vice chair.
Yes, if you wanted to do another term or another year.
Sure.
I don't know if you wanna change it to both or one.
I'll make a motion that David and Irina remain as chair and vice chair.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm just curious, how does the chair work? I wasn't here, it's never been discussed before, like, how long are the terms and when do they end?
Yeah. 1 year. So we'll do this again next month.
Really? I thought you guys had just been chair like a week. Really? It's been a whole year?
Because of COVID.
Okay.
Well,
All right, yeah, I agree with everyone.
So that's how we did the virtual.
Thank you guys for that. It's definitely an honor to serve, and thank you for thoughts and prayers while I was in the hospital. And on to item 3, which is the approval of tonight's agenda.
I wasn't sure if I could do this now.
Sure.
But, on the call to artist rankings, I would like to change the order in which we're gonna be talking about the call to artists because of the number and the complexity of the call to artists themselves.
Mhm.
So I would like to do the silhouettes first, then the sculpture, and then the mural. So basically,
There,
Approval of the right?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the changes mentioned.
second?
Second. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then item number 4 is the approval of both the April 4th, 2022 and the April 11th, 2022 minutes, which are in the packet.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for April 4th and April 11th.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now it's item 5, which is the call to artist rankings.
Alrighty.
Yes, let me stop.
I have a question. When we get, I have a question I wanna ask before we start that. Some of the sculpture or the mural, some of the artists, they would be excellent with the silhouette. Some should have been, but they didn't apply. Do we suggest that they apply for other?
At this point, unfortunately, we cannot add any more submittals to the silhouettes called for artists.
Okay. But you understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
Like, there was a few, like, for the sculpture or the mural, they might not fit in that mural or sculpture section, but they perfect their previous work fits more with the silhouette, section. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, no, I gotcha, but since they didn't apply, we cannot,
suggest that.
correct.
Yeah, I think all of the artists had access to other calls as they were recommended as also to apply whenever they would, any project they would see, they automatically are suggested to apply to all others. And some of them did mention that they're not interested in like other media or maybe consider the budget to be too low to execute it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so
I agree with you, I did notice it too.
So first, before we go into the call to orders, I would like to do a little refresher on the evaluation and the deliberation rules. So for the public, remember, this is the first time that the team has gotten together to talk about the 3 call to orders. Remember that all submittals must be scored and that no score of 0 can't be given, unless, of course, approved by the entire team, unanimously. And it has to be in writing, and it has to be a very good reason, since a score of 0 also deems the artist non-responsive. Team members cannot be capricious or arbitrarious about their scoring, which means that you cannot be putting up your scores in a random manner, or you cannot put a artist as a favorite due to personal reasons. Remember that all artists are supposed to be treated equally. Scores will have assigned points, which will be added at the end. And of course, ranking must be done in consensus, which means that the Arts Council will do the ranking and the evaluation as a team for the benefit of the artists of Alachua County. So I'm going to start in here with the silhouette. And Ms. Carol, I did not receive your COI.
I emailed you.
I saw the 315 and the 316, but I did not see this one. If the group approves, if you don't have any conflict of interest, of course, if the group is willing to let her participate without a signed COI, as well as Mr. Davis, sorry, I forgot.
I don't have a conflict with any of them, I just didn't have a printer.
I probably forgot to.
I'm fine.
I don't have a problem.
This morning, right?
This morning.
If they want to go on the record like I did previously and just say it for the record, I'm fine with that.
Exactly.
And then follow up with a paperwork.
Yes.
And that's all
Yeah,
you need.
it's on the computer. Yeah, I do not have a conflict of interest.
All right. All right, so let me just scratch this. There's a lot of information going on, so I had to do an entire script and everything for tonight. All right, so all of the scores were submitted. Let me, since Mr. Corey is not available, I am going to pull the scores. All right, perfect. Now, so like always, I'm gonna be reading out loud the scores that I have in here, and you guys are gonna tell me if, we're gonna be verifying all of that. Oh, before I forget, Daniel Velez, also known as Lero Lero, in here. He is a local artist, so he gets 10 extra points. Is this view good for everyone?
Yeah, on the sheet, you have Moreno having 10 extra points, but not Lero Lero.
On which sheet? Oh. Thank you. Did not notice that I have. Sorry, it was Lero Lero is the,
It's the 10
it's the
extra,
10 points.
not the Moreno.
No, Carlos Moreno. Sorry about that. Thank you for pointing that out for me.
It's not
So we-
Moreno.
So it's not Carlos,
Okay.
it's actually Daniel Velez.
Oh, okay.
All right, so, Mr. David, for Carlos Moreno, I have 80, Daniel 88, Gus and Lena 54, Kirk Cease 52, Paul Hughes 59, and Robert Lloyd Delgado 52.
Yes.
Ms. Carroll? Carlos, I have 45, Daniel 95, Gus and Lena 48, Kirk Cease 84, Paul Hughes 50, and Robert Lloyd Delgado 85. Ms. Chelsea? Carlos 88, Daniel 98, Gus and Lena 84, Kirk Cease 79, Paul Hughes 70, Robert Lloyd 79. Mr. Davis, I have Carlos 35, Daniel Velez 95, Gus and Lena 87, Kirk Cease 70, Paul Hughes 71, and Robert Lloyd 30.
Yes.
Ms. Irina, I have Carlos Moreno 40, Daniel Velez 90, Lina 88, Kirk Sees 35, Paul Hughes 26, Robert Lloyd 25. Ms. Lucia, I have Carlos at 85, Daniel Velez at 100, Gasolina 80, Kirk Sees 75, Paul Hughes 65, and Robert Lloyd 90. Dr. Queen, I have Carlos Moreno at 15, Daniel Velez 40, Gasolina 45, Kirk Sees 15, Paul Hughes 15, and Robert Lloyd 30.
Did, Carlos was what?
15.
15, okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. Are there any questions or any discussions you would like to go over before?
Could I look at maybe Paul Hughes, because my score is so different from the others that I wanna see. I actually marked him a 0 for artist information, because I didn't see it.
Yeah, he thinks he was
You
going
all
all the way up.
scored them very low on that one, so that's why I didn't have a problem with that, but I'll pull it up.
Is that the one who just did the
Statement, it was just like a.
3 lines
Yeah.
with no information, just
So it's
Yeah.
incomplete, so, you know.
that might have been the one I gave a 1 on.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, that's why I didn't,
And then I had a star, Gus and Lena, if I could look at that one.
okay. Wanted to look at Paul Hughes.
Yes, and Gus and Lena.
He did only upload his artist statement, and this is what he provided. Then we have, Selena. You wanted to see their CV? Oh, okay.
So this is for the silhouette, not,
Correct. This is
not
for
the
the-
statue, okay.
So this is the first image that they provided, so they actually have 2 and 1 in this one.
Okay.
They also provided the, are you ready for the final, to see the ranking as it is right now? So as of right now, we have Daniel Velez, Jocelina, and Carlos Moreno. If there is no further discussion on this ranking,
I'll make a motion to submit the first top 3 to the Board of County Commissioners for consideration for the Sports Event Center silhouette.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion, oh. Aye.
all right.
Election.
Application. All right, so, Now, let's go for the sculpture. It's 22-315. All right. So in this one, we only have one local artist, and that is Miss Jen Garrett. Like I did on the last one, I am going to have Mr. Corey. So Mr. David, start with you, Mr. Ruiz. Whenever you're ready. All right, Seth Rabbit, 44. Carlos Moreno, 73. Cecilia Luesa, 73. Donald Jalanela, 44. Gasolina, 45. James Moore, 49. Mr. Jared Charzuski, 70. Jen Garrett, 77. Kirk C, 56. Paul Hughes, 26. The team of Jose Calderon and Roberto Lloyd, 21. And Mr. Tony Stallard, 51. Oh, by the way, I did receive all of your COIs on this one, and, I mean, if you're all okay with Mr. David participating on this ranking as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I forgot to do that first. All right. That's one. All right, Ms. Carroll, for Beth, 89. For Carlos, 45. Cecilia, 88. Mr. Donald, 75. Gasolina, 58. James Moore, 73. Mr. Garrett, 88. Jen, 96. Kirk C, 69. Paul Hughes, 50. And Jose and Roberto, 65. And Tony Stallard, 87. Chelsea, Beth Rabbit, 84. Carlos Moreno, 88. Cecilia, 79. Donald, 88. Jocelina, 84. James Moore, 84. Jared, 88. Jen Garrett, 84. Kirk C, 79. Paul Hughes, 74. Jose and Roberto, 84. And Tony Stallard, 88. Mr. David, I have Beth Rabbit at 90. Carlos at 75. Cecilia, 90. Donald, 85. Gasolina, 87. James Moore, 78. Jared, 75. Jen Garrett, 100. Kirk C, 27. Paul Hughes, 61. Jose and Roberto, 78. Tony Stallard, 90.
Correct.
Miss Irina, Beth Rabbit, 85. Carlos Moreno, 30. Cecilia Luesa, 90. Donald, 90. Gus and Lina, 78. James Moore, 24. Mr. Jared, 83. Jen Garrett, 100. Kirk C, 20. Paul Hughes, 11. Jose and Roberto, 6. And Tony Stallard, 83. Miss Lucia, Beth Rabbit, 87. Carlos Moreno, 65. It's a little over there. Cecilia, 80. Donald, 65. Gasolina, 80. James Moore, 60. Jared, 90. Jen Garrett, 85. Kirk C, 65. Paul Hughes, 65. Jose and Roberto, 55. And Tony Stallard, 90. Dr. Queen, I have Beth Rabbit at 60. Carlos at 30. Cecilia, 70. Donald, 75. Gasolina, 40. James Moore, 50. Jared, 90. Jen Garrett, 60. Kirk C, 20. Paul Hughes, 30. Jose Roberto, 75, and Tony Satter, 8. So that 6 in there, Ms. Irina did jump out to me a little bit when I was transcribing. That, score of 6, compared to all the rest of them, that I believe is very low. Is there a reason? Did I miss something, or did I?
Mitch, I can't see.
Sorry.
Jose?
Let me see if I can. So I am looking at,
Yeah, scores are low because, first of all, they weren't provided CV or any materials, and second, it just doesn't fit, the artworks provided doesn't fit the call at all. I mean, it's not even a photograph of an existing artwork, it's rendering, so that's why I scored it so low, I remember it.
anyone else, any type of discussion, any questions, any comments? All right, so let's.
Corey is here now, too. First for this one. Do we wanna wait a second?
Sorry. All right, so I have. I have in first Jen Garrett, second Tony Stallard, and third Jen, Jarrett.
What was the order?
Jen, Tony, and Jarrett.
Change, though, with
I think we deleted all the scores.
Yeah, I did already.
We have to go back and re-add everything back in. We can do it. We have to go back to the beginning.
All right.
Do we do it for all of them, or just for this
Just this
one?
one.
Just this
And
one?
the one before, because it would be in our totals if we didn't delete them out.
well, he missed that vote.
Right.
But he's still here for this vote, so I
Right.
think that,
Well, at the beginning, she deleted his scores out, so the numbers would be right.
but you should just have to undo, and it'll pop back in.
Actually, I have the scores in here, so the only thing
There you
I have to do is just do
Yeah,
the
then we
5
can
points.
count.
And
I'm
we
so
can-
far past undo, I couldn't. There's been so many. But we can go back to the original.
Would we have to undo the motion, because there was.
There's not a motion.
No, there's not a motion
There's no
on
motion.
that.
On the previous one.
He wasn't here for that one. He missed
Okay,
that
so
one.
it was.
Yeah. Yeah, he's completely.
I apologize,
It's
everyone.
okay, it's okay.
My church is going in like 3 different ways, and we're also having a meeting right now at the same time, so I kinda had to.
Well, I hope you don't get in trouble for being here.
I prayed to the big guy and asked him.
Go 6 on there twice.
Because it's a tie, 74.
Ah, I see.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, since it's 74 twice, so
That makes
this one takes the place of this. Order. I have to fix this in here. I'll go with that now. Can you sort absolutely everything down? All right. 1, 2. All right. Oh,
Three still stays the
Okay.
same.
Back all the way up.
So now we need a motion.
Can we decide our motion on this one?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to submit the first three artists, Jen, Garrett, Tony, Stellard, and, Jared,
C.
Sure, that's key.
I'm so
yes,
sorry.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Go. Carol will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is that just the way he spells his name with no cap?
Yeah, that's how you spell it, so I can. All right,
I
and.
didn't know we could do that.
Let's bring up our
You're
last
wrong.
and final, 316. So for 316, we have two local artists, and that is, again, Mr. Daniel Velez, also known as Lero Lero, and the team of Visionary Fans. Mr. Corey, for this one, I didn't receive your scores.
The other two, but you missed one.
Okay.
So he didn't do that.
Yeah. So,
It's okay. No, it's all right. Well, there was a lot going on. but-
there's just a lot, so it's fine.
We'll try and space them out, so you guys don't have
And you
Like
got
this
that.
again.
at the same time.
Because it gets confusing, it's,
Oh, yeah.
overwhelming. I do have to mention that Miss Irina is recused from this ranking, so she will not, be participating in this one either. Did mention the two local artists. We have 19 submittals on this one, so this was amazing. I received all COI. And before I go into verifying the scores, Ms. Lucia, I still see the,
Yeah,
Or
the
zero. Okay, did you get a chance to?
Yeah, I actually looked at the artwork and everything, and, I scored actually 65 for the artwork, and 0 for the CV, because there was no CV.
Sabrina, did you submit for this one? So I have a form I will email
I
to you.
submitted the form that I have conflict of interest.
Yeah, she also sent me an email.
Okay, 'cause I need
Oh, that's
a Form 8 or something like that. I'll email it to you.
Sure, okay,
Oh, accounts, yeah.
gotcha. All right, so this is, I chose this one for the last because this is the one with the most submittals, so,
Good thing.
which is a great thing. I actually enjoyed all of these. All right, so Mr. Ruiz, Brit Flood, 45, Mr. June, 55, Brad Jones, 20, Paul Hughes, 41, Raul, 45, Madeline Dieters, 70, Roberto Lloyd, 58, Karski, 67, Daniel Velez, 90, Cecilia, 62, Jonathan Arango, 65, The Art of Chase, 55, Chelsea Hart, 35, Michael Forel, 55, Sergio Arce, 45, Eduardo Mentira, 45, Daniela Douglas, 44, Mary Jo Hinston, 59, and Visionary Fam, 75.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna hide this one because. All right, Ms. Carroll, First Flood, 75, Mr. June, 88, Brad Jones, 60, Paul Hughes, 70, Raul, 70, Madeline Dieters, 80, Roberto Lloyd, 88, Karski, 80, Daniel Velez, 95, Cecilia, 80, Jonathan Arango, 85, Art of Chase, 87, Chelsea Hart, 65, Michael Forel, 73, Sergio Arce, 84, Eduardo Mendita, 85, Daniela Douglas, 70, Mary Joan, 88, and Visionary Sam, 80. Ms. Chelsea, Britt Flood, 54, Mr. June, 90, Brad Jones, 80, Paul Hughes, 75, Raul, 89, Madeline Dieter, 85, Roberto Lloyd, 55, Karski, 54, Daniel Velez, 64, Cecilia, 90, Jonathan Arango, 90, The Art of Chase, 89, Chelsea Hart, 87, Michael Farrell, 59, Sergio Arce, 87, Eduardo Mendita, 89, Daniela Douglas, 84, Mary Jones, 90, and Visionary Sam, 99. Mr. David, Britt Flood, 88, Mr. June, 90, Brad Jones, 85, Paul Hughes, 71, Raul, 90, Mandeline Dieters, 90, Roberto Lloyd, 85, Karski, 78, Daniel Velez, 98, Cecilia Luesa, 90, Jonathan Arango, 88, The Art of Chase, 89, Chelsea Hart, 88, Michael Farrell, 88, Sergio Arce, 88, Eduardo Mendita, 90, Daniela Douglas, 90, Mary John Henson, 90, and Visionary Sam, 90.
Yes.
Britt Flood, 45, Mr. June, 73, Brad Jones, 35, Paul Hughes, 65, Raul, 65, Madeline Dieters, 62, Roberto Lloyd, 75, Karski, 45, Daniel Velez, 55, Cecilia Luesa, 70, Jonathan Arango, 75, The Art of Chase, 46, Chelsea Hart, 45, Michael Farrell, 43, Sergio Arce, 70, Eduardo Mendita, 55, Daniela Douglas, 58, Mary John Henson, 45, and Visionary Sam, 55. And Dr. Queen, Britt Flood, 20, Mr. June, 35, Brad Jones, 17, Paul Hughes, 30, Raul, 20, Madeline Dieters, 15, Roberto Lloyd, 35, Karski, 70, Daniel Velez, 40, Cecilia Luesa, 30, Jonathan Arango, 50, Art of Chase, 30, Chelsea Hart, 15, Michael Farrell, 65, Sergio Arce, 20, Eduardo Mendita, 80, Daniela Douglas, 25, Mary John Henson, 15, and Visionary Sam, 21, sorry. Is there any discussion, any comments, any questions that you would like to address for the mural? For 3 rings, top 3, Mr. June, Jonathan Arango, Cecilia Luesa.
Make a motion that we accept Mr. June, and top 3 to send to the Board of County Commissioners.
Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
That'll be it.
That will take us to agenda item 6, which is the call to artist update.
All right, so for the West Lawn statue, the top 4, artists have been notified. They're currently working on their sketches. The sketches are due May 11th, and then it'll go to the Board of County Commissioners for final selection on May 24th.
Can you send us, when I send them in, can you send us, I know we have no say-so, but can you send us?
If you'd like to see it, absolutely, yeah.
I would.
I was absent at the last, meeting, and, I'm curious what happened, because I realized that it changed, the scores changed for what.
So we had two tied for third place, so we had a 4-minute special meeting, thank you so much for those of you who came down here for 4 minutes. But, the vote was to add a fourth person rather than like relook at the math, just pay the extra $150 and allow that person to submit a schedule.
Do you remember who were the?
So the one that got added into was, I believe, Jay Rosen, which is the local artist that we were taking.
I'm so happy to
So
hear.
the 4 are George Gadsden, Jay Rosen, Tony Stallard, and Michael McLaughlin.
The sketches are due May 11th, and the commission chooses on the 24th.
Yes, sir, that's correct. All right, as far as our fire station 33 and 40, the stained glass artist is diligently working on the fire station 33 stained glass installation. And that's gonna be a couple of months before it's done. That's very time consuming to use. But the mural is already done at fire station 40, so if you get a chance, go check it out. They did it in about a week.
That was,
Is the public, allowed to go to the mural?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Is there gonna be any kind of, I don't wanna say ribbon cutting, but any kind of,
I asked the chief about that, and he was gonna think about it and let me know, but they were just doing like an award certificate program for some, employees, and they did it in front of the mural, so the photo of them getting their certificates has that in the back.
and that's the one that Visionary Fam did, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I saw that.
Where's Station 40, today on Station?
Waldo,
Waldo.
Waldo, okay.
yeah. And Visionary Fam will be present at, Friday's Artist Conference.
Oh, really?
Yep, so they'll be there. Next update is the Poet Laureate. The submittals have been turned in, and, you're gonna be giving everybody their instructions now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so, maybe,
What number is it there?
228.
While she's doing that, the, woman that, got the award for the agricultural center, she posted her work. It's so pretty. If you guys get a chance to go out to the new ISIS location, it's been like a long thread on Facebook about it. It's really beautiful.
So her name is Stacy Brahimi. She's a Santa Fe art instructor, and so hers is kind of like a 3D mural. So for example, like, she's got a sunflower, and it's up away from the wall. So it's like, there's panels, and some of it.
cool.
Yeah, High Screen Group has been talking about it a lot.
Rub it in.
All right. So we are going to see instructions for, call to order support laureate. It was advertised via email. Of course, this one was, far more limited than what we do with the rest of the call to artists, since one of the, requisites is that it has to be an Alachua County resident to apply. It closed on April 6th, 2022. We received 3 submittals. Remember that once you receive these submittals, there is a cone of silence in effect, between the evaluators, the artist, and anyone else representing an artist. So if anyone contacts you, just tell them to contact me directly.
How long does that last, Sarah? Till the board approves it or till this meeting?
Till the board approves.
Okay, thank you.
I should put that in there. So disclosure statement, which is also your conflict of interest form, please email it to me whenever you get a chance on or before June 3rd, 2022. So this evaluation stage considers information submitted in the area of technical qualifications or in the evaluator's knowledge of the submitter. So 100 points is attainable. And so this is what you're going to be evaluating on the, for the poet laureate. So of course, about the poet, the name, address, contact information, their credentials, any experience, any awards, experience with literary activities, of course. They're going to have 2 letters of recommendation, a statement of interest, and a short video, not to exceed 2 minutes, to then delivering poetry.
Yeah, I like that rubric. That's a good rubric,
Yeah.
I like that rubric.
Of course, your scoring, you may, modify your score as a result for collective findings and discussion during the public, notice meeting. You must submit a score for each evaluation criteria, for all submittals, and all scores will be weighted, or they will be given assigned points. And of course, if a score 0 can be given as long as the entire team is in accordance and on the same page. A written explanation must be given, and please submit your scoring prior to June 3rd, 2022. Any questions on this?
So how many do we send to the commissioners? 3?
Great.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just a matter of ranking them correctly.
And generally, for this round, would we have notified, for example, the past people who applied but didn't get it?
Yeah.
We have let
Yeah.
everyone.
So last time in, 2019, I guess, whenever we did this, that we had, I think, 5. One gentleman withdrew because he was, everybody.
Yeah, I went back, got their emails and the contact information, and sent it to everyone.
I am missing the score sheet, so can you send me the score sheet so I can send out my email to,
Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna put it in here in my notes. Send Gina a sheet.
and so everything is uploaded to a share file, so this is a little different, no monochronicle with this one.
Okay.
And so it's by the 3 artists, and whenever you go in there, then you'll see their letters of recommendation. You'll click on it to get their 2-minute, either audio or video.
It'll be good for up to 3 years to me. Yeah, like an annual.
I don't remember if it was a.
I have a question.
Oh, ooh, yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
We have an employee.
Good evening.
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Y'all supposed to say good evening? Okay. I'm just asking about the publicity for the poet laureate. How much publicity was put out to let people know?
Just that email to past, poets who had, applied for the first and last, the last time that we did it.
Yeah, I understand that part of it, but why wasn't it more public? Like, in the newspaper and radio station, or, all over the community. Is there a reason why it wasn't publicized that way? Because to me, it's just, it's like a little click, once again. And I'm advocating that we really, really publicize it before you have the vote. Because I think more people would apply, people who've been active around, literary events, so in art events, maybe they want a chance. But I think it's limited because you're only looking at, 5 people in that little group? That's not really publicizing anything. And if you're sending them the same email, how's that helping?
These are public comments, and we'll duly note them. We'll discuss it afterwards.
Has the call is closed?
Yeah, unfortunately.
To undo this means cancel and start over. That's the only way we can accomplish that, what she's
And the
saying.
commission has authority, we don't.
What do you mean by, well, procurement has authority on this, what are y'all looking for?
I just didn't know if this is something, first of all, if we wanted to do it, would it be possible
So that's
to
the
do?
thing. When we originally set this out, there were no, we don't advertise annuals anymore because everything's digital. We post public meetings on the county manager's website, and we post them publicly, on our website for procurement, but we don't put ads in the paper anymore unless the department or agency requests us to. Could we run an ad on this? We could. We can't now, but if we redo it, we could. So, and then what we did is we took all the people that applied before and all the people in our call to artist file, and we blasted out a notification.
This was advertised the same way, like the West Lawn,
We did not do immediate advisory.
Right, we didn't do immediate advisory like we did the West Line, because we kept repeating that when Mark Sexton saw this over and over.
And the call to artists went out primarily to visual fine artists, right, then?
Well, it went out to a lot of people, actually, everybody in our vendor files, okay, plus all the extra call to artists that are unique, we have those we key in individually.
And most of them came through Monochronic.
And anybody that applied last year, we automatically keyed them in, and what I mean by that is we sent them a notification, several, to say, look, this bid's out on the street, apply. We can always do better, I'm never gonna say we do enough, okay? But we do everything we possibly can, but at this point, it's mute because we have to make a decision to go forward or reject and go back out.
Do we still have Facebook? We have that Facebook site, so we put it on that too?
I don't know that it was on Facebook, I don't think.
I can answer, it's not, because Mark is helping me, we just got digitized, we just now can start interfacing with Facebook. The first one we tried it on was that EcoLoop. Okay, that costs extra money, that's another funding group, which we didn't tap into those funds for advertising. It is something for the future that we could absolutely do. But we don't post with Facebook simultaneously, we just post on Facebook, look, go to, Alachua County's doing all their annuals, say March and April, go apply for any of these services.
Okay.
So essentially, the decision before you is, let's go ahead and stick with what we've got and forge ahead, or we reach out to everything. And we do have time, our current poet laureate contract is through September 30th.
So it's all up to you.
Now, I was looking to see what the term was gonna be, because this is the decision not for today, this is the decision for the next 3 years for this vendor, for any application
They
that
keep
we go for.
Oh, yeah. I think we keep what we got.
Seems to bomb.
All right.
If
I just have to publicly say I'm recusing myself, I'm not commenting on it.
And so is Cory.
I will say, if,
Yeah.
like, I'm fine with keeping what we have, but in the future, let's, for a non-standard call like this, you know, one that comes up every 3 years, I feel like we should blast that out further, like, do the social media.
Yes, so definitely.
Well,
Really
maybe,
noted.
maybe next year, you look, we don't have to renew for all 3 years, I don't know the way it's written, it might be written for a 3-year term. But, the next time we rebid it for whatever reason, okay, then we can even do some ads or do a press release if y'all want to and try to get it out more literary.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I go
Yeah.
with that.
Because we want as many people as we can get.
Does there need to be any kind of motion made? Was,
No, yeah,
no,
3 years.
So no motion at this point, she's just giving you the information. I'm gonna send you the email as soon as I have your Excel spreadsheet. So that's what I'm missing, to send you the.
And that'll be it. Whenever you're ready.
Next is item 7, which is the call to artist ranking discussion.
All right, so,
the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it on the agenda, and, I would like to propose, I mentioned that already before, that each of us could do a little research, ask around, and maybe come up with their own idea to suggest ranking criteria for the future calls, what they think would be appropriate.
so if I may, I did a little bit of research, and I started with our ordinance. So there are some elements in our ordinance that we do have to keep in mind, that you do have to evaluate and look for. So I did this little spreadsheet with everything that I found, including from the city of Lauderdale Lakes, right here in Florida. And some others that I came up with, and that's why I need your help. So there are some of these that, of course, I cannot budge on. So, of course, we have about the artist, and that, I know you guys are not really a fan of that information in there, but to make sure that the artists do provide that information, I believe it's best that we include it as part of the criteria.
So we could reword it just to imply the quality of that information, though, because the way it's worded now, I don't feel like I'm being asked about the quality of their resume. I'm being asked, did they write their name, their address,
Yeah.
Well,
their
that's
contact.
why we have in here credentials, experience, and awards. That will tell you more of the quality of the artist than anything else in there.
Can we enhance that, though? Do you have an idea for
Yeah.
something else that
Yeah,
we should add?
I would say instead of saying resume, include something like,
Personal statement?
rate the resume, or something like that.
Yeah, I would just like to grade beyond the durability, what was it, the criteria that was on monochronicle, the durability, weather resistance of it. That's simply what I graded on. I know everybody else graded differently. They kept the grading system the same, but y'all included other criteria. I would like to be asked to grade on that also.
So
And
I
we wanna
have,
do it up front.
so I
We wanna
have,
tell them what we want up front.
Yes.
correct.
Exactly.
So I have more down here about artistic quality.
Okay.
So if you want, I can go over each of the rows, and you can see what we get, and then we can start an actual discussion. That'll be easier for everyone. So, of course, I already mentioned that the location, is in an Alachua County residence. Of course, we do have that preference for 10 points.
Can we talk about that? Or are we just overviewing it? They already
Just
talked.
overviewing
Okay,
for what I have right
thank
now. So, some of these are in bold, and what I have here in bold is what's in word, how it is worded in the ordinance. So right now, I have likelihood that the artist can successfully complete the art with the available funding. And here I also added if they finish past projects within budget. Then we have maintenance requirements, permanence of the art in light of environmental site conditions. Are their pieces easy to maintain, expensive to maintain, the pits survive harsh winds and rain? So I have that one as maintenance requirements.
It applies to sculptures mostly, to murals, you don't do any maintenance.
So another,
You kind of do, because in Miami-Dade, me and a group of other artists, we used to get paid by the county to go and retouch some of the murals after a certain length of time, because like some of the murals don't get sealed, like they don't put a good proper seal on it. So sometimes they fade and the artist dies, like, a few of the artists, Oscar Thomas, like, for example, he did a lot of murals in Miami-Dade, but he died. So a team of us get paid, by the empowerment, and we went and we touched up a lot of the murals because the sun had faded them, because a lot of them was not sealed. So that they do. So you have to look at, is the muralist sealing it correctly? And how, because sometimes you can put a thin seal on it, and that thin seal only lasts like a couple of years. But you put a nice thick seal on it, it can last a good 20 years before it actually starts fading. And then plus the pigment of the paint as well makes it.
But, you guys were paid, so if, we have a project, for example.
But the only reason why we
yeah.
got paid is because we know how to hustle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what I'm just trying to say,
Meaning
we
that-
announced this,
Meaning that a bunch of the artists, we got together and we saw a void that needs to be filled. So what we did, we wrote proposals, and we went to these agencies and we put our proposal in, and we sold them on our mission, because our mission was to preserve the artist's murals that the artist no longer here. So we're trying to preserve that mural because the artist has died. So we hustled, and we wrote proposals and got funded, see? So maybe that's something else that we can look at grants, like.
maybe
maybe
that's
a grant.
gonna be the case here, the artist.
But still, I'm saying,
for the
so,
future,
Yeah,
for the future.
right.
Many years
So,
from now.
okay, can I interject just 1 minute? It's like, if he says that he's, making judgment according to how he sees the element, does the painting, how many of us really understand, the material for the climate? A lot of us probably sitting here, is trying to figure out, well, what is this material? A lot of us don't know the material. So you're asking us to make a judgment, some of us make a judgment on material that maybe we don't know because we're not construction builders. You understand? So maybe that's somewhere it could be a little bit more clearer, or give us maybe a notebook or something to give us the understanding, well, what's this material? So this way we can make the decision, oh, well, okay, I understand this is concrete, and this needs this and this. Now I can make a better judgment. So I'm just
Better
saying.
text, better results.
Right.
So we
We're
all
all
are
in
on the same
progress.
page, so we all know what is durable and what
Yeah,
considered
right.
not.
Well,
Right.
my concern with that though is what if there's the newest, I don't know, variation of concrete and,
Or something.
yeah, and I don't know anything about it, and the person is gonna, they're proposing this latest, greatest concrete, that it's infused with whatever,
And we might not wanna say no, but this is what we want. For the spec, we want something that will handle inclement weather, where it's posted for 25 years, 50 years, or 100 years. That's what we have to write the spec as, and they have to guarantee that. Now, we might have to do some research on the team to find out if that's reality. So each spec will be more customized for what y'all want and the outcomes you want.
So the
I
artist
agree.
has to make a case for. So the
whatever.
artist, it would be a good idea to ask in the proposal requirements, to put a list, to ask the artist to say what material it is, on what material it is,
Yeah.
or the
Industry
treatment,
maintenance, right?
which is what, maintenance requirements is all about.
Exactly.
So for the next one, which is where I believe would be the bulk of your work right now, would be the variety of the arts already acquired and cultural and ethnic diversity of the art already acquired. So some of these questions.
Wait, what do that?
Yep. I know. So I brainstormed a little bit of my own, and this is what I came up with.
There y'all think about what y'all want.
Exactly. So,
It's a fancy way to say if artist was commissioned, but if you acquire like a fine art in the collection, or sometimes you buy a ready sculpture just to install, like you acquire a completed artwork, then yes, so it's just.
So why not say that?
We can just, put it under the category of experience, you know, you see awards, you see grants, you see experience, so you can say the artist, artwork was acquired, that's basically the same.
But when we're sitting at the table, how many of us understand that? In order for us,
We
that's
are
why when you're
discussing
asking us to rank something that everybody doesn't comprehend.
So it's on us.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
We're on the right page, we're doing good.
Okay.
all right, so in here, I just brainstormed some things, and I took some things from other government entities, and, artistic quality of past work, samples, ability to relate, the design to what Alachua County represents, or what Alachua County is about, appropriateness of artwork and scale and imagery, does it fit the location, or, ability to relate to multiple types of viewers, if they're walking, if they're driving, if they're cycling, interpretation and the clarity of the scene to the viewer, quality of artistic composition and overall design, overall impression of the art, past work made of durable material for harsh weather conditions,
We're not gonna.
we're gonna keep going back to that.
Okay.
And the creativity and originality of the depicted theme and uniqueness of design. So the floor is yours, at least for the others.
So designed for a submitted proposal, so if artist submits a proposal, then you can apply the judgment. If it's just a previous work, then no, I would just simplify it to, creativity, because some artists submit sculptures, but some of them are really interesting looking, some of them are not that much in our personal opinion. So maybe we can use this creativity as a point, and, the quality of examples. So like aesthetics, how just these two, it basically replaces all this information.
Yeah, I'm not an artist, I've stated that, everybody knows. I wanna be able to judge on subjectivity rather than objectivity, because right now it's simply yes or no, are these durable materials or not? And that's all I've been grading everything on, because that's the criteria, the rubric we were used to grade on. But I would like to be able to include what I think is cool, what fits, all that stuff.
Right.
And I know some of y'all have been doing that, and you've been doing it equally throughout, so I have no problem with that, but I want us to be able to include that in our judging.
Yeah, just remember that I do need some objectivity, because I need to be able to defend this in case there's a protest. And subjectivity is not easily defended.
No,
That's the only thing I'm putting in that thing.
Creativity, quality of submitted artworks, so even, the quality of photographs artists submit, I can see from all the submittals that some of them submit really bad quality, or cut it somehow, or, image is not appropriate, or the call is not appropriate, just simply that. And I like what you say, and I just want to bring an example. So, Lyra can judge herself if the artist is local or not. We don't have to do evaluation, right? If we speak about durable material, Lyra can can do it too, because she can have a guidance, okay, this is durable, this is not, she doesn't need us. But what is our value here is to, evaluate the aesthetics, because we all are coming from different backgrounds and represent the public. The artwork is created for the public, and we represent the public, so we should, judge and, you know, provide our expertise, so the criteria should reflect it somehow, in my opinion.
And the other thing I mentioned to Chelsea leaving a couple of meetings ago was, I would like to blindly judge. I would like to get an image without the artist's name attached
Right,
to
this
it
is
or
how
anything.
some projects do, or university
Is
projects,
right now-
reviews.
We
can give a number or something.
Yeah.
We get numbers,
Yeah.
and then they just show us images, we have no idea who they
I
are.
would
and
be
we
happy
judge.
to get blindly see a picture, and I don't know if that can be set up on
On the
Monochronicle.
Chronicle is already set up, you
Right.
just let me know, I put the
I'd
mark,
like
all
to.
the names,
We have to take care of the
remove,
information on the
but
TV.
Vera will see,
Yeah.
who is the artist and who is rated, while us only see the images.
Yeah, that's how it is for us.
I would like to not have any names
Yeah,
attached
your,
to
your department.
what's being submitted, and we just
Right, but you
judge
want
on
to
a
see
number.
resume, you want to see resume.
that
when
we-
you
Oh,
look
yeah,
at
we'll
resume,
see that's
you
separate.
see all the names, you see
Right.
where everybody lives, you know?
We can judge them separately. I mean, we can judge.
Of their work.
I'm not gonna go look for it. If I see it gray, I might connect, oh, this is his, but I would like names
Here's what I
left.
would try to do
The
in my
resume
mind,
is
I'll
not
put it
attached.
out. If
It's
you
not
walked away from this and
connected
looked at
to
it
the-
as an outsider,
The worker.
would we have done the same thing?
The
Would
art.
you say, yeah, they treated everybody fairly,
We can
that
judge.
they judge everybody, you know, basically the same, and
You
creativity
can
is
do two
creativity,
runs,
and
one
your
simple
judgment
run
call.
when you
That's what we're
rate
doing. So
and
in other
start
words,
images
someone
that you
turned
like,
in a
and then-
resume,
and you have a separate.
Right. If someone turned in a resume, they had their name, they had their address, and they had their contacts on there. Well, that's about 4 points each in my mind, is how I separate it up. They got 12 points. If they just put their name on there, then they got 4 points. I mean, that's the way you think about it when you're judging everybody, and no one can argue that we didn't treat everyone fairly.
But when
That's our
you're,
goal.
but when you're hiring someone and you're looking at their resume, you look at those things, you're like, okay, great, and then you've got 10 people that have all those things. Well, then you have to decide who's best for this job. And I feel
Well,
like,
that's only 20 points.
what do you mean?
The resume part's only 20 points.
Oh, yeah, as long as there's a
10
part that
points,
goes
I'm
with
sorry,
it,
10 points, yeah.
a part that follows
Well, we
that
should
that's
always
more
make
about
the
plot.
points to what's important to us.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I do.
I have a question too. For a hot minute, we were using the stars on Monochronicle, and it was like really nice because it was like a first round, just getting visual idea of the artwork and then reading highly the ones that were like high quality work and are averaged out, so thus somewhat fair opinions. The highest ones rose to the top, and then we dug in and we looked at the resume in the next step. Why do we stop doing that?
But I was just thinking, maybe we can do it this way, people see all the images, but they don't see who the artists are, they just rate, from 1 to 10 stars, but at the same time, they have to see resumes per artist and score, the quality of resumes separately. And so you don't know which you score put for the artist artwork, you just rate this, but, Vera will have all of this and put them together.
No.
you like it all together?
You like to
Yes.
see resume and all together?
Well, I mean, yeah, 'cause that way I can put a face with an image.
Yeah, but,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
Right, but
not
this
to
is
know
exactly
that-
why we are biased.
Yeah.
No, I'm
We want you to rate it just based on
But
the.
then I wind
quality
up, but then see, it becomes difficult because, I think I score low. A lot of people will get low.
Yeah, just
but-
put a low score,
I'll
what you
say-
think is cool.
But
Just-
I still say I like to have the information here so I can see here. When I see, then I can have a balance. There's a balance. But it's just nothing near to identify it. Then to me, it's just a lot of images, and a lot of images that I could just like,
Well, some of them are
Walk away
good,
from.
some might be not that good. You rate them according to your perception. It's about taste. So imagine all those artworks are on display for the city, and you walk the city. Some of them you like more, some less. Just use that. Doesn't matter what the artist
But how
experience is. That's
I
why we
rate.
also don't discriminate as artists that maybe don't have that big portfolio.
Well, see, I'm not even looking at that part. I when I do ranking score, I look at the quality of the work, and I look and see if the person has that matching quality of, to produce that work.
You can still rate the resume and
They're gonna be put together.
yeah, but just separately.
Yeah.
so you would not do it once. Okay, you see images, you see, oh, I know this person, I'm gonna put 10,
No, but I don't judge
out
like
of
that.
10.
I don't judge like that.
I know, I'm just bringing an example of what's
You could be my mom, and you're participating. Mom, your stuff stinks, you know what I mean? But I'm just gonna judge according to I feel like her stuff is qualified, you know? And I'm gonna say, well, it's qualified because look at it. It has all the points, it has all the levels, it levels. When I put a leveler, it levels, and it's not this way, it doesn't give me a biased feeling. You know, in other words, they can put something, say, for example, the West Lawn. At one time, everybody was putting trees out there. They wanted to put artworks of trees. Why? You just took the federal soldier down, and now you want to put a tree? A lot of us black people got hung on trees. So we don't want to put a sculpture of a tree. You say, that's offensive. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, no, I think keeping the two together gives us a better idea of how to strike a balance and not bias. If you're biased because you know the person and you like the person, period. So it doesn't mean that you see the person's resume. It's the fact that you know the person's name.
The good thing is the team gets to make up the final decision and
Yeah.
what y'all gonna do. And then
I
you put
like
down in
doing
writing,
it
and we're gonna
blindly.
follow it.
I kind of go in, I mean, of course, I'm the least educated art person here, but I just like,
You are artist, honey. Let me tell you, you're an artist. Because you know what? You know, I had students that used to say, I'm not an artist. I'm not an artist. You are. Everybody in this room is an artist. Because you know why? You decorate your house. That's art. Okay? You want certain type of stuff in your bedroom, in your living room, in your kitchen. That takes creativity. Okay? You want your car to look a certain way. That's art. You put on your clothes to match your stuff, how you want to dress. That's art. That's creativity. So everything you do is you're creative. You're creative. You're just not tapped into it to realize that you're an artist. See your sunshades up here, certain way. That's artistic. That's creative.
well, I it doesn't, you know,
Some of us don't have an artistic team, I guess.
I mean, I can go either way, but you know, I was just thinking of, to me, a blind one where I don't know anything about who did this
Okay.
work of art.
So
I'm looking at it solely and judging it based solely without knowing any of its history, so to speak.
okay, so you are really judging it blindly now, because if you don't know nothing about art, you're making a blind judgment.
Yeah, but, you know, there are times,
You're not gonna
like
get-
right now, I'm looking at this, some of these artists' resumes, so either way, it's just one of those things where I thought it'd be neat to judge based on the number rather than the artist.
Well, it's whatever the group decides, you know.
I think like resumes, mostly just to prove that the artist submitted particular information. They all have experience, they all have awards or something, right? And they only like, some of them are based here, so that we can make a difference.
And some do not submit their resume.
So maybe it's like, you're evaluating the images separately, you're evaluating the quality of submitted, like, resume, whether there's a resume at all.
There's more time. Yeah, to me, it's just more time, you know, putting in more time. You know, I think making ranking and judging should be more simple.
Well,
You know,
I think
really
it's
simple, not,
Can we do what we did before, where we do images first to narrow it down to a small handful, and then look at the resume of that small handful?
Yeah, but, with this case, there was, this idea that we need to see the resume at the same time. You know, that's why we got back, because,
Did that seem unfair to people to just
Yes.
face best?
I mean, the original idea for me was to first evaluate the images, narrow down, then you have like 5 or 10 artists that automatically are preselected based on everyone's vote, and then you request those artists to provide, more information. So for example, with, University of Florida, at the current call, they only request 6 images, no resume, nothing, 6 images. And then people are rating, then once they narrow it down, they're going to request more reference, list, resume, etc. So this way you don't bother other artists with all this work, and, you can then you commission 3 artists, so it's more like 3 stages. That's one of the options, I don't know, should be something in between.
I really love that option because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel, I get a lot of fatigue when I'm looking at these resumes. And I feel like I have to really force myself to do justice to the artist and read through it carefully because 10 resumes in, and I'm like, I'll look at the same, and I'm for like, so I think it's more fair this way, because then if we're just focused on, I don't know, 5, 7, fewer than 10 resumes,
Yeah.
then we can really give time to each one and be like, well, which awards did this person get? Well, how long have they been making work? You know, then we can really dig into the resume.
And then you can see images and resume together. So
Yeah,
like the first round goes just blind, narrowed down to 10, and then you see all those 10 along with resume and pick and vote. This way you also will have small form to submit because you narrow down the RGs. Unless we have 6
So,
or 10.
what
at all.
will be, so what will be the timing on this? Like, it will,
It would
well, I'm saying timing, okay. I have a 9-year-old that got a lot of other activities, so, okay, she over there laughing because she, so, I don't have a whole 8 hours in one day to divide and separate, delete, eliminate, and then go next phase.
Well, but it's
next
not gonna
phase,
take that much. Remember when we were
Next
using the start system first time, you were just clicking on the start
I
and that's it.
I didn't do that. I didn't participate in that.
Well, it takes, maybe other people think.
This
So
method would be faster for all of us.
You can use your mobile phone, it's mobile friendly. You just put the rate, you click on the next image, put rate, next image, it's.
So-
They're still telling me I gotta give up my time by using my phone.
So what you're saying, if we did a timeline, whatever the first Monday in June is, was the 3rd?
Mhm.
So if we had to do a call to artists by June and we had 10 people for mural,
So the timeline would be, just 2 stages. First, everyone has at least 1 week to briefly go over images, blind review, and rate them from 1 to 10
so
stars.
that's week 1.
Week 1, it shouldn't
Alright.
take you, it should take less than 15 minutes to honestly do it.
But we give
because you
everybody a
don't-
week to get it completed.
Yes, but then we have, I just narrow it down, you open the same again and just see it with images, with
that's already
resume and.
30 minutes. That's already 30 minutes.
It depends how many artists apply. If there are 6, it will take much less time, but if you have 20, like for the mural, for example, to click on the image, look at it, click on it, I don't know, 20 people, how much time would I give you? An hour?
But would it?
Too much, probably.
Using this method, would we only be looking at the top scores resumes, right?
We're not gonna look at that many.
Yes, but only Lyra will see the top scores. So for judges, you will always see images. You rate them, you are done. So if you, for example, rated somebody 5 and then you scroll over others and you see, no, that was better, you can come back and vote again, you will be saved, the last score will be saved for what you voted.
So I guess what I'm asking is, so say we put out a call for something, 30 people apply,
Yeah.
we just take a few minutes to look through their images and rate their images, their past images, and from that, Lyra or whoever gets sees who the top 6 were, and then we, second round, we don't look at any of those others, we just look at that top 6, and then we
Yes.
get their CV too.
Yes.
So that would save us time, because you're not reading the CV for 30 people.
You don't read the
You're only
CV,
reading
you just
the
click on start, go next. Yeah, you can use mobile phone, it's designed for a mobile phone, so you don't even need to open your computer to do this. For resumes, when you click on resume, then, yeah, probably it's more convenient to have it in a separate window to look. But once everybody vote, if we say 1 week for everybody to vote, Lyra will see it immediately. Once everybody completed their vote, it's pre-selected automatically in the table, and I'll see that too. So I'll just remove the others from the gallery, and you just go ahead and look on the.
And then beginning week 2, the second week will be round 2 where we see fewer.
Yes, fewer, yeah, 6, 10, as much as you want, depends how many you want.
All right, so let me get this straight, because so you will be seeing first the images. First, you will be ranking those images without seeing the resume or anything like that.
No names or nothing.
So
And you
Right
wanna
now, the
create a
number-
short list from that.
So you wanna create a short list from that, and then after that, you would be able to see the cover letter or
Yeah.
whatever documentation.
Whatever they touch.
Now, I am worried about the 1 week, because these meetings are publicly announced. Usually, we have a minimum of 10 days of being able to announce
10 days
the
is
public
fine.
Yeah,
meeting.
we'll
Sure.
just fit it in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just example that we have a deadline where everybody needs to finish with this part, so we could narrow down and go next.
Or just putting it out there, because we do have that legal.
I mean,
Timing
can be changed.
Exactly.
Everything you're talking about is digital,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
And what if we have 3 like we did today?
Then we would just do everything.
Yeah,
for
then
all
we
of
just
them.
do everything at a time.
So,
But
Follow
I,
the process,
Doesn't
it's
make
just shorter.
sense to.
I mean, I guess it's a number, how many applications we take to use this
It's
kind
all
of,
right.
system.
Mhm.
And,
And
If
we
it's
can
more
add
than
rules
10,
on
then we
that.
more than
do it.
10, we use this system.
Yes.
If it's less than 10, we can look at everything.
Yeah.
It's gonna probably be a
sounds good to me. Maybe even if you're
Yeah,
like
or
7.
fewer, like 6,
I don't know.
something like that.
I started to space out a little after, like,
What
the
do you do
second
after?
resume,
Yeah.
CRE,
What's that?
so.
community redevelopment.
Oh, okay.
But we should also change the rubric though.
Yeah, that's, but I still need,
Yeah.
I still work on.
Can we go through it line by line,
All right.
like back up to the top
All right.
line, I guess,
So-
for the resume?
According to both, to the discussion, we can change the resume to a letter of interest, which would also have that type of information, or cover letter. And you would not necessarily have all that list of, I studied here, or I participated in this, or anything like that. But if you would
I'm
like.
fine with it.
So, I wanna see that. I wanna see where they studied.
Yeah.
So you want to see a resume?
Yeah.
One of the options also is, when artists submit their application, there is a box for message, and many of them like to send message. They, simply say, I'd like to participate, or I had this kind of experience, so that's why this project is important. It's different from cover letter because they don't have to spend time to really try to make it beautiful and follow all the standards, but they just, sincerely, tell to you something, right? So maybe we could use this as the criteria and just ask artists, submit your message, your idea, or your feelings about this project, and you can evaluate that as one of the.
So that would be a
criteria.
letter of interest.
Okay, can
Yeah,
I,
like, like just some kind of interest.
Yeah, letter of interest.
Yeah.
so is it possible, can we just ask for a brief bio and an artist statement? And that covers all that.
Does that include, and maybe this is too much, let me know, I'd like for them to know something about Alachua County, in the sense that,
I know nothing about Alachua County. I know, me and my kid went to High Spring. We went to High Spring to look for some cemeteries and 5 dogs chased.
call me and I will help you. But what I'm saying is,
Pineapple.
how many of these people know what Alachua County is like and what we might be looking for? Is that too much to ask? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Put in there in the future.
Yeah, it's
Clear
like,
as you can.
why do you feel your art would fit in Alachua County?
That would be
Well,
the
you know what I'm
letter of
saying?
interest.
You can just ask them to send a message of interest,
Yeah.
and then you will see who of them did research and learn about Alachua County and said, I know this
Yeah.
about Alachua County, this is why I want to participate, but some of them will say nothing. So then you can evaluate them to see.
That's kind of what I was,
You got people that's been here all their
think
life, and they can't even begin to tell you what the word Alachua means.
That's asking the
Other
artist
people
for
who
more
live
work.
here.
I can't do hard.
We're trying to like not ask the
It's a
artist
tricky
for-
question, yeah.
No, it's not. What does the word Alachua mean
Can I,
in English?
So they will have to go on Google and those
No,
get an extra
we're
What's
sitting,
your name? I don't know.
sinkhole, sink.
Sinkhole, yeah.
or jug or something?
No, it means sink, sinkhole.
Yeah, but it has to do with a jug and a Native American word.
Yeah, it had to do with the Native American.
So,
But I'm saying, how many people just sitting at this table even could tell you? So you're saying, tell me about Alachua County. A lot of people at this table can't even begin to tell you what the word Alachua means. So we're asking a little too much.
that's what I agree.
and that's why I asked, is it too much? I didn't
I think
know,
it's asking a
I didn't
little.
know if it was to ask them to even take 5 minutes to Google Alachua County, to say, hey, here's what, everything
You
you're.
know what the Florida bird is.
Scope of what the project is, maybe
Some people
where
don't
it's
know what
gonna
the Florida
go.
bird is.
Fire high, fire high.
Magic.
Yeah, 'cause I wanna see their creativity also. You don't wanna hand feed artists
Maybe we could,
everything.
maybe we could go around and each say what we would like this to, the letter, the first thing to be. I'll go first.
All right, what would you
I think it should just say quality of resume, 10 points. And not say all that other stuff. I think it should say quality of resume, 10 points.
I'll second that.
Yeah. Quality of resume.
Is that okay with everyone here?
Define quality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, we have to define.
Did they include everything that needs to go on a
They haven't
resume?
been able to
such
do
as-
that, we don't know.
And for the
Oh, because
budget,
we know.
for the budget
As
is,
long as they're consistent, then
Yeah,
that,
absolutely. As long as the
as
vendor
long as
knows
you're
what we're
consistent for
expecting
what you're looking
to
for.
get those points. If I do all these things, I'm gonna get these points.
Mhm.
That's a little objective, and we were trying to find things back in the day to get more quantitative, to get some of the objectivity out of it. So that's how we come up with a resume back in the day, with the call to artists, is that was something we could quantify and say they did it, and then we can move them on. But y'all get the option of doing this the way you want.
Mhm. Yeah, I think
So
quality
any
of
way that
resume.
makes sense for you as an artist, if you were applying, I'd write it so they understand it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think an artist would say, I need to turn in a quality resume, I'm gonna have to put my contact information, and I'm gonna have to show that I have experience doing this. Like, we all know what a resume is.
And if you don't, you're gonna get dinged.
Yeah, well,
Every one of
I
us gonna
can-
be a little different.
right, I can understand what he's saying, is because like, you asked me to turn in, I can turn on, I got this pink paper, ivory paper, and it's got pink lettering, that's quality.
Dude, it smells so good.
But you know what, the
That's
next
why
project,
they're going out of the box there.
the next project, knowing what it is and knowing what our goals are, will help us write this stuff.
Okay.
We need a little more details before, because she put out generics out here for discussion and to talk about what, we kind of seen, so that gets a conversation started. But next time, maybe if it's a support services art installation, it's a mural, we know what we need. We're gonna need some samples, we're gonna need quality work, we're gonna need it to be sustainable. The resume, maybe we need a letter of interest. Maybe Alachua County's worth 20 points in because we want it to be a local vendor. Those are the things that we decide up front, and then the rest follows it.
I think
So
we
do you want a letter of
understand.
interest also?
No,
Okay.
I don't think we should have a letter of interest.
Is that a CV statement, a letter of interest? And what does CV stand for?
Contact is.
It's the resume.
Oh, CV.
It's basically a resume.
It's a resume.
Exactly.
Expanded resume.
Show how great you
Because I
are.
saw some of the things said resume and CV, so I was like,
Yeah, I didn't see too many CVs, but I saw a lot of resumes.
I didn't know if I saw one or not. It could have hit me in the face, I wouldn't have known.
Can we move on to line 2? So, does everyone think that we should give 10 points to a Alachua County
I
resident?
got a question about that one. So, for example, all 8 of you do this, so is that 80 points? Or it's 110 point?
That, so that we don't
Or
have
it's a
to do
range
it.
from 1 to 10.
I don't think we should have to rate this, I think it's something Lyra should add in after.
And so at the end, so it's 100 points, and maybe they get 110 points if they're
Right.
perfect.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
110
Bonus
points.
points.
That's what I understood it, that she was just adding 10 on.
That's
So
right.
no,
No,
they could have got 80 bonus points, because you gave,
That's not.
you're 10, you're 10, you're 10.
Oh, I
you're
took
10.
it as what she just said, the person gets 1 10-point bonus.
For each event.
Yeah.
We
Okay,
talked
so 10
about,
point
that's
bonus.
how we're
Oh,
moving.
okay.
That's how we're
Point
doing it.
bonus.
Not
Not for each event.
Collectively.
You just get 10 on the
At the
top.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, 110
10 on the top.
And that's good,
And that's
'cause
what they do
Same
at
below.
the state level.
yeah, so we don't make mistakes, so that we're not each individually responsible for knowing the county
So
that
at the
person was in.
Okay, so, but let's think this through. So you've got your resume on there, and you said it's 10 or 0. Okay? That's no range,
No,
I mean.
I don't think so.
Okay, they
That
can
you,
put 5.
that you have a resume, but it was, this guy was really good, yours was not that good.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You can get 10 or 0 though, the way
No,
y'all
I don't,
put
I
that.
think you
No,
might get,
I
I think
think
you get 2.
Okay, you can have a range, okay.
Right.
I'm gonna put it as a
A
range,
I
so.
agree with
a max of 10.
Max of 10.
And because they're awesome, that resume was awesome.
And whole numbers, don't use fractions.
Artist, not mathematician.
Yeah, that's.
All right, so I'm gonna put it in there 0 to 10, so we
Yeah.
can have it there. Then I have 10 bonus, so to add the total of everything for the location.
Okay.
All right.
I have a question about the budget. Gina, since we've been doing this, have we ever had an artist not go over or didn't spend?
If I tell them the budget's 10,000, by God, they're charging me 10,000.
They're gonna figure out how to get 10,000?
Yes.
They're gonna figure it out.
And
Yeah.
how do we know, this is for the board,
Yeah,
whether this budget, they can complete a job with that budget, because they're just gonna write out numbers and say,
Exactly. What it is it's, oh my goodness, 1% not to exceed $100,000. So I know what my budget is, but I guess it's up to this group to say, well, we could get one piece of art for whatever that is, or we could get a couple. But, you know, I worry about that too. It's like,
Yeah.
did that mural really cost
that
that amount?
Yeah.
Or was that I don't know, a 10,000, you know, I don't know. I don't know what murals cost. They cost what we pay. That's what they cost.
Exactly. Artists apply for a call to artists, they see the budget, they can assume, can they complete the project or not? So I feel like we don't need this. It's always confusing to me to see the budget question.
If I can speak on that,
Yeah.
because what my prices are may not be the next person's prices based on networking. So if I say I can do this job for 10,000, but I know it's 100,000 worth of materials in it because I have a connection with a supplier, that's what I can do for 10,000. Other people probably can't do that. So I definitely believe as people who can get that job done, leaving that to artists, the artists can do it. Let's not, as an art council, worry about how they did it.
Right. It's the same example about Silhouette. Silhouette was basically a small sculpture because you still need to cut it out of the durable material, but the price was 11,000 or
20,000.
20,000.
That's a lot of money.
For some people, yes, for some not. Some didn't want to bother because they consider the
Because they
fabrication
don't know how
of
to
the
do something.
material. Right, so they didn't apply.
Because they
Only
don't know
those
how.
who know, they apply, right?
Because you can go to the junkyard and get the metal.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about, that artists who know, they will apply, and those who cannot make it, they do not apply. That's why we don't see all the artists applying for it.
But there's a lot of people that have sculpture that would be
I give them
excellent.
a PO, so I give them a third.
For
I give them a third at 50%.
They would make their work look good.
They don't like the project.
What happens if they
obviously.
breach? That's what you're asking.
So they don't,
It doesn't matter why, but they breach it and they can't do it for the amount of money they told us, it's gonna be a one-off and it's gonna be handled.
But theoretically, I paid for those supplies, so it's like, give me my supplies that I paid for, and I will find
give me
another
my
artist.
half-finished sculpture.
Give me my half-finished sculpture, and I will try and find an artist finish.
It's just
So that's what happens.
Right. Don't even say stuff like that.
Don't call the enemy. Do not call the enemy.
Forget that conversation.
I guess my question really has more to do with the administration, not so much the artist, because I know an artist is gonna apply, if they say 100,000, that's what their budget is gonna say. But do you think that do we have to spend this much on a mural? Could we?
No, absolutely not. We could spend whatever for example, Sports Event Center, instead of a $20,000 mural, maybe we could have gotten two $10,000 murals. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
so that's
maybe
one
we
of the
could've
things I
gotten,
just
you know,
think that we
$4,000
should take a look
murals.
at,
I don't
get
know.
more out.
I don't know how to price paint in, like, oh, it's clean, cool.
And like,
What would
scaffolding
be
and
your
like all that
hourly
costs
rate
money.
you would pay
Right.
yourself?
Okay, depending on if I already have the supplies,
Mhm.
a whole other job, then I'm not gonna pay you for the supplies. But if I go get the supplies,
Right.
and then like I said, that goes into the artist cost. And as an artist, there are other things that I need to do to accomplish the mission. So if I know that the budget for this project is 10,000, given by the people who said it's $10,000, so if your budget really is 5,000, say 5,000 for an artist, I'm looking at getting all of that. I'm going to make sure I spend to get all of what you put up for that project. How I did it is up to my needs. Once I do it by your deadline, up to your specifications, matter if I really cost me $100. So if you say 10,000, and I did it to your specifications, don't be upset that it only cost me $100.
Right.
It- it-
I don't ask them that
Because
question.
as an artist, that's what motivates the artist.
And the opposite can occur.
Is it right, is it possible for the budget to ask the artist to itemize?
I just wanna see that.
No, I'm saying, no, hear me out, hear me out.
I'm with you.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my budget. I'm gonna say, Dr. Christian Koo gonna do X, Y, Z for X amount of dollars. Then I'm gonna say, I have to rent a, easel or whatever for X amount of dollars. Paint, covering whatever, X amount of dollars. See, I can itemize these things, but I'm also putting in there how much. So,
so like I said, that.
But no, but if you itemize,
I'm gonna rent it at $800 an hour for 10 hours, so it comes out to $8,000. So when you get yours,
okay,
you're gonna
what I'm saying, but if you rent an easel,
cheaper.
but if you rent an easel, I mean, because I'm not saying something I haven't done.
You shouldn't recommend.
Wait a minute, I'm not saying something I haven't done. Cause when I do a project, okay, I'm gonna itemize, because they wanna know my budget. So I'm gonna say this amount for me, okay? This amount for assistant.
Or insurance, or travel, or those.
No, they're gonna handle the insurance, but anyway, if I had to pay that, I'm gonna pay that, right?
Sometimes it's in your
Right,
budget.
gas and all, and
Yeah.
stuff. But I'm gonna also itemize, my easel, my paint, you understand? I'm gonna.
Business person, but that has.
Right, not only artists,
But I'm saying, if you're an artist and you want to have your business.
leftover paint, which may not cost anything, they may use something else,
But I was here, but they can itemize.
but it's
What
not
you're
always
saying
the
is
truth,
close
it's
your
just for
mind,
us
the
to
fact
see if the budget is reasonable, we can
Yeah,
ask
that's
them for
reasonable, but-
project breakdown, right? Budget
because
breakdown,
I have
just give us
100
that
grand,
to show
underpaid
how you,
100
break
when
down
you
the, budget,
easily could've
what
paid 100,
goes
you
for
know what I'm
artist fee,
saying?
what goes
And
for
so being
materials, you see,
responsible
maybe it's
taxpayer
not
money
enough for
is
materials,
first.
then you question that artist, right?
Excuse me.
Okay, I think we can just
Okay.
go all the way around with you.
All right.
Because you can't
So for-
apply for a state or federal grant without having a itemized budget.
Thank you.
In a detail, you just can't.
Thank you.
But we're
Think
not
about
saying,
it, think about it.
I mean, I hate to say it that way.
We
but
got-
we are
Well,
moving.
I wanna know where my money, I wanna know where our money's going.
So
I wanna know where our
remember,
money's going.
Yeah, we do.
remember, we
I
used
wanna know
to,
where our money's going.
Any obstacles.
you
Trust me,
used to
It's not a
evaluate,
regular grant, we do.
we used to evaluate the budget itemized, and it did not work for the Arts Council. So make sure that whatever you decide, it is what you all want to do, and that you commit to it.
I don't like this question, about.
Can we
budget.
vote
So
real
we
quick?
have to have it, it's in the ordinance. So one thing that we can do is to ask the artists to put, because we're not looking at their proposals right now. We're looking at their past work. We can ask them,
How much, yeah.
or how much,
Okay.
or anything other questions about budget, about
It
their
worked
past
in the
work.
past, yeah.
That you guys can use to evaluate.
Okay.
the
How
budget.
will we know?
Well, we
If
can
I say
ask.
I got commissioned by the
This
city of
is where the-
Orlando.
This is where the references come in.
Yeah, right. They have
Remember,
to
you
learn.
have that chance, as long as you treat all the
Making our
artists
life.
equally, you can call any reference that you need, and you can ask them questions.
I like the wording in the first box, how it is, not itemized, but just that
The
wording.
likelihood that the artist can,
Mhm.
but that's actually in the ordinance worded, I thought,
That's
why
good
it's
wording
bold.
right out of the ordinance.
Well, we can simply ask them for the checkbox, the consent, like we ask them, you confirm that, your work is original, that you fit the criteria. We can ask them if you can complete the project within the stated budget, and they check it out, they have to read it, so they have to consider it. If they're not,
I have
able
my
to, they just
reservations
do not
about that.
supply.
I would have my reservations about that, because then it would not be really evaluating the likelihood of the
No,
artist.
it's not for
basically
evaluation,
a yes
it's
or no
just to make
question.
sure that they fit.
Yes, I guess probably a legal protection or something like that, something like that, but I don't know.
Can I,
Everybody will check it out.
can I,
Exactly.
say that, I like the wording in this one because it's saying, like, look at their past art, have they completed things, so you mentioned their references, this is just kind of saying, have they done it before? And it's also kind of saying to me, like, if we are looking, if this is rubric we're using for an actual proposal, it's like if someone's like, I'm going to build a 50-foot tall golden Sankofa, and I'm like, okay, they're not gonna be able to afford all that gold, like, it lets you, like, just be like, is this reasonable?
All right.
Is
What
this
if we
a
have
reasonable
just a
proposal?
question, if artists,
make gold.
created similar work in the
Actual
past?
gold.
So how likely artists created something in the past? So when we saw the Sankofa example, we know this person can do a Sankofa, right? Or if you see some examples of murals, so the person can do it, so they know what the budget is, they have experience.
So one thing that we can do is just use that same exact wording, that for your guidance as well as for the artist, they would know what this criteria means and what it's for. We can just use the budget and leave the rest of the wording in there,
I like
unless you
that.
guys want to change it now.
I think it's good.
So,
Can you read it, please, this sentence?
wait, because, sure. So we have in there likelihood that the artist can successfully complete the art with the available funding. And the question that I have in there is, have they finished past projects within
That
budget.
sounds good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
It's one thing you
Especially
just
with
said
the-
that, as long as I've been here, I have never did it. You said, you could call their references. I've always just checked to see if they had references.
No, that's why we
never
ask for the
thought-
contact information of the references. You
That
have,
the council members could actually call.
Well, we might wanna put some structure in that, and
Yeah,
maybe the
I've
chair
never
take
had
over.
Everybody will be calling
Right.
whoever the first one is.
Normally, we would default that to the chair to take care of references or assign one person to call and ask consistent questions to each vendor so that it's
So
fair.
did y'all know
and
that, or
transparent.
I don't?
Now, how does that
Maybe it
affect
should
our
be a
total
bunch of
salary?
finalists on it.
well, you're not talking,
If
you're not talking someone who
I
represents.
assume they were.
But you said we're not allowed to talk to each
So
other either.
David, for example, would bring it back at the
So that
meeting
is
where you
something-
discuss it. So like, I talked to this reference and it wasn't good, and then you guys may wanna reconsider your points for that, or.
Right, and you're not asking for
Maybe
the
we-
evaluation stuff, you have a list. You said you had 10 years' experience, talk about those companies, just ask them standard questions to each one.
Exactly. One thing that you can do is, remember, I always come to you with, hey, this call to artist came back, we've received this many submittals. When I do that, you can have this conversation. You can appoint the chair or anyone else to ask questions to the reference. And whenever you come back to deliberate, you can actually get that feedback during that deliberation.
So then that would, cause what I was thinking, I was trying, cause I'm sure some people's votes might change when they hear,
Yeah, they
You know,
suck, they took my money
yeah.
and I never got my art. You know, score them low.
So we'll need to work that into the process formally, if that's what we wanna do.
If that's what we wanna do.
Maybe if we have, 3 finalists, maybe we
That
can,
might be, yes, that's what I'd recommend.
Only
call
for the
these,
last.
and if somebody has scores, similar scores, or a small difference, maybe we can, if somebody, the reference doesn't work, we can go with the next
next one.
artist, right, so.
And if that doesn't work, we'll bring them all in for oral presentation.
I like oral.
And if that doesn't work, we'll have them do like we did, assemble a little miniature and bring it into us and show it.
Yeah. Remember they used to do that, bring all this
We
art
tried it
in?
all.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they become, oh.
But that's good.
And the key
And
was
we had
that
good
every
results
time you
from
try
that.
it, make it as easy for the artist as you can.
That's right.
So there's different ways that we can go about this right now. But we would have to work it into a process and make it a process, and then commit to it.
so
Follow it.
there would be a reference check of the 3 finalists is what I'm hearing.
Maybe the 3 being recommended to the board, we do a reference check on.
You can ask for the proposals, and, you know, when you receive the proposals, they can come in here, they can, you know, do a little presentation of how they used to do. That,
Does it have to be in person or can it be Zoom?
well, it can be
Person,
Zoom.
we always, I make them do it in person. It'd be almost impossible to show samples and stuff on Zoom where everybody can see it. We're here, they can come.
But if they're not local, they have to.
Yeah, that's
I was
the,
gonna say, what if it's everyone like California?
Yeah.
Well, then, we'll do it on case by case.
Okay.
Because it'd be hard to do the statues. It really was great to see them in person, but it was a lot of work and
They,
took more
we
time
can
and
pay them
cost time.
$150
Yeah.
and they can do a sketch.
I like the sketch idea. That was
It
where
works
we wound up,
perfect.
and it's good.
beautiful.
Because the commissioners aren't gonna go through all that. They wanna see it right there and they wanna have it.
So basically, you want to invite whoever, the 3 finalists of the
What?
rank.
do we wanna start with
I
the
don't know
reference
if I
check?
want
or
to.
invite?
I know to do all that.
I just didn't know we could do it, that's really what it was.
Okay.
That's up to David if he wants to make phone calls.
But not necessarily even, yeah, the phone calls, yeah. Was on the still of the line of having them come here.
Yeah, I like oral presentations.
Yeah.
No,
And we
it
took care of it during then in the old days. We had reference or questions.
We were gonna make the artist come do oral presentations?
I think it's.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
Was it the Justice Building we did, where the guy brought the little girl with
The public defenders.
the public defender? That was a beautiful presentation. Loved it.
It's a beautiful piece of art.
It is.
Yes, yes, I loved it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Gabbard, I think is the artist.
And he came here and brought a miniature, sample of what was gonna actually be. And we all suggested, could you change this a little bit? Can you change that a little bit? And he said, yes, we can do this, do this. And voila, we have a beautiful piece.
I feel like that's asking a lot of the artists.
Oh, man, I love that.
Check, if I could finish a sentence, I think the reference check, just doing a reference check for the past 3 would, I think that's like cut and dry. We talked to someone who's like, yeah, they're great.
Oh, dog, I would fail.
You're better at
See, down, Miss Carol said, I argue so much.
They'll probably say, oh, her work was good, but boy, did she have it difficult.
I don't think they would invite those people to give references. Usually they're friends and family or like a really good, experience, so nobody would really put someone and give a bad feedback.
They should be
professional references, not family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be professional. I don't know, what's the standard, like,
If it's not professional, I mean.
yeah. Their mom loves them.
Yeah, right.
How do you know if it's not?
define
You
your
call and
professional
you
reference as a
ask, do you know
As,
this person? And this
as,
person already knows that somebody might
uh,
call and ask questions, and she says, well, I don't know.
An organization or whatever, or a professor with whom they worked, something like that.
I would suggest just to Google one of the examples they provide in the resume and see if
That's what I do.
these.
I Google all them.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Randomly check
I
something,
Google
but
to see how many, because usually if you Google one of them, you'll see a whole string of stuff and pictures, because Google loves holding on to people's pictures. So.
Where like, they have to have this artwork completed by November 1st.
I don't think we
Not
do.
really, no. Like,
So-
they kind of tell me,
So
like,
somebody
yeah, this is
within
gonna
the
take 4
realm,
months.
so somebody they have to tell you, or could they drag this thing out for years and still be within the,
At some point, I would be like, I need my art, or we're done.
but if it's not in the contract or in the deadline, they can still say, I'm working on it.
Theoretically. Theoretically. But it's like I give them a third up front, a third at 50% with photo, and then their last third whenever it's done installed. So I give them little incremental payments. So that kind of incentivizes them, and so far everybody's been amazing.
And lets us see where they're at. No more bad vibes.
You're not allowed to talk anymore.
That budget thing just kind of.
He's doing good questions, so that's a good question.
Why did you bring up the budget?
Because it's in the ordinance. Trust me, I would not.
And we won't get any more money.
Gina was talking about, do we do $100,000 mural or two $50,000 murals? That's got me thinking, if I'm an artist and I got this $100,000 mural grant, and I know between my time and materials, it's only gonna cost me $10,000, so I'm $90,000 in the clear. Well, we have just overpaid $90,000.
For real? You think so?
Theoretically, or maybe we got a
Theoretically.
bargain.
Right.
Maybe we got a bargain.
Depends on who the artist is.
Yeah.
Because see, if the artist is a well-known artist, then you're getting, you
It's
getting
the government worker in me coming out.
Well.
And on this kind of project, don't you think an artist putting their name on something that's in the public, and it's gonna be seen by everybody, is their reputation too? I look at it that way, so they have a big incentive to do the best they can and make it as good as they can, but I do get what you're saying.
And I agree basically, but I just, and that's why I was asking, is because I know nothing what art, what would your hourly rate be? If you had to say, what is your time, your skill worth when you put that brush to canvas? Are you $50 an hour? Are you $30?
Oh, no.
So that's why I was just kind of, the government person me is coming out thinking.
Oh, no, you're paying me $50 an hour? What?
Yeah.
No.
Well, for starters,
I charge $800 to make one line.
Levels of
very sick guy, artist.
I have done it.
Price or.
And I'm fine with that, but I was just thinking, do we pay, and the question came to mind is, do we pay, like if we had $100,000 for a 10 by 10 mural, and I'm just picking numbers.
10 by 10.
A 10, or would we do better to do 33,000 for 3 5 by 5 murals? You understand what I'm saying? That's just kind of what I was thinking.
I think it depends on who the artist is.
And what the organization wants, because a lot of these murals is based on what the staffing had ideas that they wanted in their facilities.
Yeah, so we're
But
out
like with
there.
Sports Event Center, we ended up with the 3 different calls because the user wanted the silhouette, they wanted a mural, they wanted a sculpture.
And I think you don't pay artists by the hour. I mean, it's not a punch the clock. I mean, if I had a punch the clock, I would never show up to work.
I understand that, you know, that's why I was asking.
No. You pay by the project. You pay for what, okay, for example, like I said, I had to go back because what they want to pay artists today is crap, okay? It's crap, totally.
I think we pay very fair.
No, y'all don't pay.
Fair.
We pay.
Cause back in, I have to go back into the days, cause that's how I see the pricing. Back in 1984, I got paid $800 to paint one red stripe along the wall. That was it.
How long did it take you?
Oh, it just took me a day.
Okay, one day equals $800. That's how I do it. My mind is about if I ever have any hours.
Okay.
To try to get an average of,
Yeah,
a mural this big should cost about this much, but I agree, it is up to the artist.
And that's why I'm asking,
It says we gotta tie to
Right.
something that gives us.
And there's times that I got paid very good money for a small mural, but what I did is that I went and hired 5 teenagers to come. I paid them by the hour, okay, to paint the big math part of it and send them home. So what if I had to do it myself, maybe the mural would take me a month to get it done because it was, you know, the size of it. But I paid them, I put money in their pocket, but I also played with their minds because if they help paint the painting, they're not gonna graffiti it. They're not gonna put no graffiti on. They're gonna be.
Can we try to get through this rubric?
Okay.
All
right, so what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna treat the referencing as a case-by-case basis, and what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna add that question at each presentation, so we have it in there in front of us. All right, so whether you want to do it or not, okay?
Great.
All right, so next we have maintenance requirements, permanence of the art in light of environmental site conditions. Are there pieces easy to maintain, expensive to maintain? Does it survive harsh rains, winds,
Hurricane.
This is the question of durability of materials, right?
Yeah.
So we can just phrase it in.
So, for example, Lady Justice needs to be waxed,
Every year.
every single year.
People's house to go wax.
And not pressure wash.
Yeah.
You don't volunteer to wax any statues that we get.
So, and that's something that we can also look in their past work. I mean, that's also something that we can ask the artist to provide. If they have any maintenance requirements for those sculptures or statues that they already have out there.
I would put 10 points for it and give more 55 to, I guess, aesthetics, the next one.
So
0 to 10.
0 to 10. Let me put it here, 0 to 55.
And so we're asking them to write a sentence saying, this requires
maintenance.
wax
Right.
every single year.
Right.
Yeah.
Or nothing.
Or
So how would you like to word the criteria in here? The same way that it's in here?
I like the way it's written.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Do we need to put, like you're saying, does it require any future or yearly, annually? Will they
That's the
answer that
idea.
in that?
Right,
All right.
yeah.
So they said,
Yearly or,
yeah, I mean,
So, maintenance requirements.
I mean, I think it's implied.
that's why I was gonna make sure it was
Yeah.
applied.
Yeah.
Well, don't,
I mean, they should tell us something about the maintenance. What exactly that entails.
something about it that's not sitting right with me. I think we need to be.
In the question, but not in our rubric. Our rubric can just say what it says right there, right?
Yeah, you know, to follow the budget one, that also has a question that helps guide the artist on what you're looking for, then I think we need the same thing on this one. That's what I'm thinking.
Does it need any
well, like,
addition-
the
does
first
it need any additional
Quality of
work?
resume 0 to 10, so I don't think it has to be a question every time.
Something like, does it need additional work and how often?
additional maintenance, yeah, and
How often that should be.
and how. Right.
Thank you, Tina.
What, for waxing Lady Justice?
No, I got
She's the only lady I'll do that.
I got I got your email.
So now we
I
are,
said waxing in that context, it may bring up this.
All of a sudden, everything came to mind.
Yeah, exactly, I was thinking the same thing, Nikki.
remember this is a recorded public meeting?
Okay.
But it's after hours, so we get a little break.
Oh, no, I'm dying. Okay, I mean, my battery's dying. Okay, so the bulk of it, are
I think it
these
could just,
questions,
I think it could just
You're
say
welcome,
the
thank
first
you.
sentence, artistic quality of past work samples.
right. Right. Yay, okay, so, what was that, I'm sorry.
Just the first sentence of it, get rid of all the bullets, so it just says artistic quality of past work samples, 0 to 55 points.
So,
Although, one thing I would say, or if we're using this rubric if we're using this rubric for proposal, then we wanna know about artistic quality of proposal as well, right? So maybe just say artistic quality of the work or something like that.
Submitted material.
Submitted.
submitted,
I like it.
quality.
100.
So it's gotta be 100.
Yes.
So, let me just,
A Alachua County resident would make one.
so we have. Where's your 10?
Add 5 more to the,
And
What?
Sample creativity.
Well, you have
there is creativity down there, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
it's, oh, okay.
And quality of samples
Quality of
was before,
samples
so
we
just
don't need.
remove this one
Yeah.
and add 10 to creativity. Basically the same as artistic quality, but more like, of how cool it is.
the wow factor.
Right.
That's a great rubric.
Yeah.
I love that rubric.
Should we put more points on it, less on maintenance or something?
All right. So,
So we're gonna have 110?
if they are Alachua County residents,
Okay.
they would,
They
their
get
maximum
110.
would be,
Yeah.
110.
all right.
We don't need a motion for that.
Item 8 is the call to artists downtown county-owned buildings discussion.
Yeah, so, we have a few buildings, including this one, that we could put mural on, and one of the projects with Shepherd Ferry was considered to put here, and I understand there is budget for it, right? But it was canceled, so, we could just, do another call to artists and create a mural.
Can we use the money on something else?
So right now, there's 20,000 set aside for it. Whenever he was coming, COVID started hitting, and then also, if you look at the building, whenever you go outside, it's had a weird texture.
So, I would propose to create a mural for administration building, but here are several walls that can be used, and just, for example, University of Florida is doing the same. They show different locations for artists to pick. So we can just do one call and show like 3 possible locations, and whoever applies, we can.
Why do we always have to use
So my
University
question-
of Florida for example?
Because, this is something I know. If you have any other
I mean,
examples, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like,
You always use Miami.
I have a
Well,
question.
yeah.
You got Broward, you got, what's that, Hillsborough County, all of them have great art,
Just bring an example, sure.
no, y'all can Google.
I just have them as, using the
I'm
service
saying,
so
but
I can compare.
UF is really behind.
No, I'm just bringing you another example that I know used specifically for our work, so I don't know how other projects work, I don't know how they have.
Not just saying, but I find UF is behind and they're trying to catch up, but they're behind.
That's true, well, maybe they're good at some, they have good budget though. Their projects have hundreds of thousands for,
Yeah, they're a
also
city
audit,
within a
so-
city.
Okay, Gina, my question, we had $20,000 when he was supposed to do this, but since that's not happening, are we beholden to, we gotta do a mural? Can we use that $20,000 on something else?
Right now, I have a board motion, Board of County Commissioners motion, that it's gonna be used for a Shepherd Ferry mural on the south wall. So, depending on what you guys decide, I go back to the board and I say, look, the Shepherd Ferry thing is just not shaking out. The Arts Council talked about it. So, are you okay with us still taking that $20,000 and putting out a call to artists for multiple walls on county buildings
What,
downtown?
is Shepherd Ferry the artist?
Yes, and he's a very well-known artist.
But he's not coming, yeah.
No, and I think we could get him at some point, but it's just, we have some obstacles. So again, I was telling you about the texture of the wall, that we got some quotes, and it was like in the neighborhood of $100,000 to smooth it,
Oh, no.
just to put his mural on it. And like, I have 20,000, I don't have 120,000,
Well,
so.
we painted.
So so basically, that project is not gonna happen. So I'm just trying to get, so the $20,000, could we go back to the Board of County Commissioners and say, since this is not gonna happen, we have $20,000, can we do something else with
Yes.
that $20,000?
Yes, and if you know what that something else is, I could go to them once and say, instead of that, let's use the 20 for this.
Okay.
But we
Environment,
can talk about it next
environmental.
month.
I would
You're
like
not
to
ready.
put that,
Like, we can
I'm not
Sculpture.
ready, cause I
Yeah.
think there's some
Environmental
things that could,
sculpture.
something like, that we can do within the county.
If there's a motion, I second that.
I don't think it requires,
No, we can table it until
Yeah.
next month.
We table it.
That's what I
And
think.
then you guys have time to think about it.
Discuss it next meeting.
right.
Yeah,
And this
sounds
would
good.
be potentially outside walls or inside?
So long
Or
as it's
whatever.
public.
Okay.
Yeah, so it could be an inside wall, absolutely. The nice thing about the outside wall being downtown is that
People
sometimes,
will
like after hours, people are walking around
Yeah.
anyway, and if it's inside, like this building's locked.
Mhm.
Do we have any other county-owned
We
property
can put,
that's not in Gainesville?
mounded,
Yes.
and mounded.
We have fire stations around the county,
They don't
we have, for example,
they don't
the
have to
Acac
smooth the
Equestrian
wall.
Center, the extension office,
Yeah, parks.
we have parks, 26 parks, so all over the
Yes,
place.
I'd like to think about some other.
And we're gonna need a detailed list of available places from you.
When you're not busy,
What is,
please.
Dr. Q say, Google.
I just saw something from your Department of
But yeah.
Parks and Recreation, the county's Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Oh, the survey?
We got a building that's like 82 of them.